Imagine starting your life abroad with a loan constantly sitting in the back of your mind. Every time you spend money, every time you make a decision, there's this voice saying, you still have to pay it back. That was me. I took an education loan to study abroad, and like many of you, I didn't come from an unlimited financial support. But within just 2 years, I became completely debt free. Not because I earned insanely high from day one, not because I had shortcuts, but because I made a few very intentional decisions right from taking the loan to how I lived to how I worked. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what I did. So, if you are planning to study abroad or already have a loan, you can repay it much faster. Hi, if you're new to my channel, I am Avnika living here in the UK. I studied in abroad, paid off my loan, and now living my best life possible. On this channel, I share how you can build a sustainable and better life here, whether it's jobs, studying abroad, buying your first home, career growth, or just navigating life in a new country. Hit that subscribe button, and I promise you won't regret it. Part 1 is to start smart. One thing I want to say, your loan journey doesn't start after you graduate. It starts when you take the loan. This is something most people ignore. Smart borrowing. My total loan eligibility was around 35 lakhs, but I didn't take the full amount. I only took 20 lakhs, and that decision alone reduced my future stress massively, because every extra rupee you borrow is just extra interest you'll pay later. So my practical advice would be, if you are planning to take a loan, don't take the maximum amount just because it's available. Borrow only what you actually need, keep some buffer, but don't over borrow. Now, the next is interest rate negotiation. Another thing people don't realize, you can actually negotiate your interest rate. What you should do, compare multiple banks, ask for better rates, use one offer to negotiate with another. Even a small difference in interest rate can save you a lot over time. Part 2. So, the reality that comes after moving abroad. When I moved abroad for my master's, reality hit. Living expenses, rent, groceries, managing everything alone, and on top of that, the loan. I followed the smart living decision. The biggest expense for most students is rent, and this is where you can actually save a lot if you make smart decisions. Instead of living alone, I chose to share accommodation with another girl. This immediately reduced my rent, utility bills, and even internet costs. Some practical ways students can save is to share a room or apartment initially. Choose slightly outside city center, split your bills with flatmates, and avoid any luxury student accommodations. It might not feel very comfortable in the beginning, but remember, this is temporary and it helps you save a significant amount. Saving on groceries. Groceries were another area where I became very conscious. Instead of eating out frequently, ordering takeaways, and buying convenience food, I started cooking at home. Meal prepping for a few days, buying store brand items, and shopping from budget supermarkets. These small decisions add up a lot over time, and when you're trying to repay a loan, every pound saved matters. Managing living expenses. When you live alone abroad, there are many small expenses that people don't think about. Things like transport, subscriptions, eating out, shopping, social outings. I didn't cut everything out, but I became more intentional. For example, limiting eating out, avoiding impulse purchases, tracking monthly expenses, setting a rough budget. This helped me stay in control and not overspend without realizing. Managing everything alone. And apart from money, there's also the mental side of managing everything alone. Cooking after classes, working part time, studying, managing finances, doing household work. It can feel overwhelming sometimes, but at the same time, this phase teaches you independence and discipline. And because I had a loan in the back of my mind, I kept reminding myself this is temporary. These small sacrifices now will give me financial freedom sooner. And honestly, that mindset helped me stay consistent. Part 3 is while studying, how I started repaying early. So, my master's was 1.5 years, and I didn't wait till I graduated to start repaying my loan. I did part time work plus extra hours. I worked part time during my studies, but more importantly, I worked extra hours whenever I could, like during weekdays, on days when I didn't have any classes at all. For me, in my masters, it was up to me to organize my classes timetable. So I had chosen my classes days to be on 3 weekdays and kept the other days free for studying or working. So in the week, I had 3 days to go to the uni, study, or do assignments, and 4 days to do work. Also, I made sure to have good networking at part time work so that I could get extra shifts and earn more. The holiday strategy, which is very important. During Easter and Christmas breaks, when most people go on holidays or go back home to see their family, I chose to work. I didn't go back home during those times because saving for loan was more important for me. My family understood this, I understood this because we knew I had come here to build something up of my life. Instead, I worked on higher pay rates because holidays usually pay you more. That decision helped me save a significant amount. It wasn't easy, but there were moments I wanted to take a break, travel, or just relax like everyone else. But I reminded myself this is temporary and more important at this stage. Part 4, which is tracking and prioritizing money. One of the biggest things that helped me was tracking my expenses. Knowing where money is going when you're in a new country, it is very easy to get distracted by fascinating things, and sometimes you tend to spend more unnecessary. So, cutting unnecessary spending, like not buying many fancy and expensive things at the time, would help save money. Your priority shift is very important. For the first couple of years, my priority was very clear. Loan repayment came first, not shopping, not lifestyle upgrades, not unnecessary spending. Part 5, what happens after studies, and that is the game changer. After completing my masters, I worked full time for around 6 months, and that's where things really accelerated. I focused on high paying opportunities. From the beginning, I focused on getting a better paying job. This is something I want to emphasize. Not just focus on saving small amounts, focus on increasing your income, and things will eventually fall in place for you. Very important mindset shift is that don't just run behind working more and more hours all the time. Instead, focus on building skills, focus on getting a better job, focus on long term growth and your development. Because when your income increases, everything becomes easier and you won't have to stress about paying back your loan anymore. I know it is a feeling that stays in your head, but think about it as a reason and a motivation for building your life better, getting that dream job that will sort out a lot many things for you. Part 6, the outcome. So, combining everything, part time work, extra hours during holidays, controlled lifestyle, full time job after studies, I was able to repay my 20 lakhs loan in just 2 years. And becoming debt free is one of the most peaceful feelings that I can't even explain. So, part 7, here comes the practical tips and key takeaways from this video. If you're planning to study abroad or already have a loan, here's what I would recommend. Take only what you need, don't overborrow, negotiate interest rates, share accommodation initially, start earning early through part time work, or it could be casual work as also at your university. Universities usually pay higher pay rates, so definitely, if you can, look for jobs at your university itself. Use holiday periods smartly, track your expenses, prioritize loan repayment, focus on increasing income, don't ignore long term career growth. Part 8, which is the biggest lesson. The biggest lesson for me was this: it's not about how much you earn, it's about how you manage, prioritize, and think about your money. And that feeling when you have to manage your expenses and savings all by yourself actually prepare you to be very financially intelligent as well. Part 9, which is my core strategy that worked for me and can work for you also, I bet. This is my formula. So, if I had to summarize everything I did into a simple formula, it would be this: borrow smartly, live efficiently, increase income, prioritize repayment. Everything I did falls into these four things. Next part, which is managing loan stress while studying abroad. One thing people don't talk about enough is the mental pressure of having a loan while studying abroad. It's not just about money, it's always in the back of your mind. Every time you spend on something, even small things like eating out or shopping, you start thinking, I still have a loan to repay. And when you're already managing studies, part time work, and living alone, this stress can feel overwhelming. What helped me to manage loan stress? First is breaking the loan into small targets. One thing that helped me mentally was not thinking about the full amount. Instead, I have 20 lakhs loan to repay. I thought, let me save this much this month, let me repay this much this year. This makes the goal feel more achievable and less stressful. And whenever I had a lump sum amount, I used to do that payment because that helps to bring the amount down. Starting repayment early. Another thing that reduced my stress was starting early. Even small repayments during my studies gave me confidence that I was making progress. When you see the amount slowly reducing, it motivates you instead of stressing you out. Having a clear plan. Stress usually comes from uncertainty. Once I had a plan, part time work, saving, and repayment, I felt more in control. When I went abroad, I had two things very clear in my mind, that I have to search for a high paying job, a part time job, as soon as possible, and I have to be in control of my expenses. And these two things help me a lot. When you have a plan, even if the progress is slow, you know what you are doing, you know you are moving forward, and you feel less anxious. Avoid comparing yourself. Another thing that adds to stress is comparison. You see friends traveling, people spending freely, others not worrying about money, but everyone's situation is different. I reminded myself that I had a bigger goal, becoming debt free. Accepting short term sacrifice. I also accepted that for some time I might need to compromise, fewer trips, controlled spending, working during holidays, but I always reminded myself that this is temporary. Focusing on growth, not just repayment. This was probably the most important mindset shift. Instead of constantly thinking, I need to repay my loan, I focused on building skills, getting better opportunities, improving my career. Because I realized if I grow professionally, the money will follow. And when money follows, the loan repayment becomes much easier. So, if you are feeling stressed about your education loan while studying abroad, you are not alone. It's completely normal. But having a plan, staying consistent, and focusing on long term growth makes a huge difference. Step by step, it becomes manageable, and before you even realize it, you are much closer to being debt free. So, your education loan is not a burden, it's an investment in yourself. But how fast you come out of it depends on your mindset and your strategy. If I could do it while living alone in a different country, managing everything by myself, you can too. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel for more real experiences and practical advice on building your life in the UK, from careers to finances to everyday life. Let me know in the comment section if this helped you. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.